So when we have an idea, we can do two things. One, we can think about it some more, put it off, maybe get to it in an hour, in a day, next week, next month, or we can take immediate action. What I have learned is that when I take the alternative route and I take immediate action on something, things begin to happen. And hence this podcast that you're listening to. I had an idea that I needed to get this thing going again. So I took immediate action, reached out to an individual. I had asked them to come on the podcast so that I could get my ass in gear and have something on the schedule that I was committed to, that I had to then prepare for in order to execute on. Taking immediate action will provide significant results for whatever you're looking to achieve. So I just want to encourage you. You have an idea, take immediate action. Doesn't need to be huge, something small, but do it. What up, world? And welcome back to one final episode of our 30 for 30 series. Thank you for tuning in up to this point. It's been fun to reflect on these 30 lessons that I've learned over 30 years. I hope you're finding them enjoyable to listen to, valuable. So we will go ahead and dive into the final 5, maybe 6, the final 5 lessons of the 30 for 30 series. And we'll be going through starting with number 26 here, which is, and again, these are all, I'm literally reading them for the first time along with you, and then having very natural, genuine, candid thoughts around them. So that's basically what the format has turned out to be. I haven't read these since I wrote them and since I put them into this format, and just never actually did anything with them 2 months ago when I wanted to do it for my 30th birthday. So here we go. Number 26, make time for traveling, road trips, adventures, and exploring. They create new ideas and perspectives, ones you would have never had anyways. So I think this just comes down to a value that I have for myself in my life, and that is traveling and just cross-cultural intelligence. I was fortunate enough to study abroad in Peru when I was back in college, and it was one of the most transformational adventures and travel experiences that I had ever been on in order to connect with an entirely new part of the world, a place I had never been, people I had never been around. I was finalizing my Spanish degree, and so it was just an amazing place to go make new connections, create new life experiences, make new friends. And I just can't speak highly enough. Like, if you're in college, go and do the study abroad program. If you're out of college, there are plenty of opportunities to continue to do similar study abroad like experiences. And so I want to encourage you to, if it's within your resources or your capabilities to do so, I highly suggest that you do it. And, I've had opportunities to go coach baseball in the Dominican Republic. And that was, again, amazing opportunities, experiences that I would have literally never have gotten if I hadn't said yes to opportunities and then made those opportunities happen. I know I have on here road trips. So like, road tripping is so cool because it's such a unique way to see the world around you, right? Like, when we fly places, we see where we left and where we're landing, and not a whole lot in between. And road trips are super cool and unique because you get to see everything around you while you're on that trip. I have had so much reflection time, so many ideas, so many insights on the road, traveling, being, letting my curiosity go and pulling off and stopping places. Shelby and I, my fiance and I, maybe like a year and a half ago, we did a road trip from Seattle down to Palm Springs for 10 days, over to Utah for 10 days, over to San Diego for a month and a half, up to LA to see a friend. And then we took Highway 1 all the way back up to Washington, or we took it up to Monterey, which was amazing to get on Highway 1, had never seen it. And then we jumped off and cruised back to Seattle. And so, it was like a 2-month trip, and it was amazing. It was so cool. It was something that we were looking forward to. We met so many people along the way, went to Zion National Park, went to Bryce Canyon, like did super cool and interesting things that just created an entire new experience for life that included adventure, travel, connection, experience. So I highly encourage you to do it. And it is one of my genuine true passions in life. And I can't speak highly enough about it. Number 27, fulfillment comes in large part from feeling valuable, useful, helpful, and of service to others. So this is something that whatever I do in life, it doesn't feel complete if I'm not feeling like I'm helping people in some particular way. Reason for the podcast, like when I get feedback from you all, and when I get a text or an Instagram message or, a verbal acknowledgement that this is helping somebody in some way, like the amount of fulfillment that I get from that is the reason why I'm doing it. And same thing, like working in my career, like when I feel like I truly have helped somebody solve a problem or, like that's what I'm ultimately super passionate about. I love all the other aspects that come along with these things. Like I think, and working in sales is fun. And I think doing this podcast is fun. I love the process. I love running and training for endurance events, and I love the process. But when somebody tells me that they have then signed up for their own race, that is more fulfilling to me than the actual me getting that result itself. So fulfillment is something I think about a lot. I spend a lot of time thinking about pondering the question, and what I'm doing right now, is it meaningful and is it fulfilling? And so that was number 27, is that, I love feeling valuable and useful and helpful to others. So number 28, ideas plus immediate action creates incredible results. So when we have an idea, we can do two things. One, we can think about it some more, put it off, maybe get to it in an hour, in a day, next week, next month, or we can take immediate action. More often than not, in my life, I have taken the route of doing it tomorrow, doing it next week. And you know what? Somehow it never got done. What I have learned is that when I take the alternative route and I take immediate action on something, things begin to happen. And hence this podcast that you're listening to. I had an idea that I needed to get this thing going again. So I took immediate action, reached out to an individual, Sam Brighter, if you're listening, thank you very much for saying yes. I had asked him to come on the podcast so that I could get my ass in gear and have something on the schedule that I was committed to, that I had to then prepare for in order to execute on. Taking immediate action will provide significant results for whatever you're looking to achieve. When we have an idea, it is so crucial to take that immediate action. It doesn't need to be huge either, right? I don't want you to feel like this is something that's overwhelming or it's a huge undertaking, right? Like taking immediate action can simply mean sending a message, right? Like I did to Sam. It can mean texting that person that you've been meaning to meet up with to have that conversation about, right? It can mean planning that run that you wanted to do for at X time on X day that week. It can mean putting on your shoes and tying the shoelaces. It can mean writing one page of that paragraph for that chapter of that book you are wanting to write. So it doesn't need to be huge, and don't feel overwhelmed by this idea. But I just know in my experience, what I continue to learn is that when I have an idea that I think is good, that I think I'm passionate about, or I just kind of want to see where it goes, taking immediate action has created incredible results. And there's a lot of the times where those ideas never got actioned on, and they went, and I had nothing to show for them, and I forgot all about them. So I just want to encourage you. You have an idea, take immediate action. Doesn't need to be huge, something small, but do it. All right. We have number 29. Momentum is a powerful force. Use it when you have it, because in the moment, it seems like it will always be there, but it won't. It's fleeting, and we must recognize it when we have it and take advantage of it. Seize the opportunity. Momentum is huge. And we talk about it often. M3, movement creates momentum, creates motivation, right? We need to get moving in order to create momentum. And when we have momentum, it is so crucial to continue capitalizing on it when you have it, right? For example, like I'm sitting here recording this podcast and I've been standing at this same spot in my room for the last 2.5 hours because I have momentum now. It sounds like a good idea. My feelings would tell me, hey, you're good. Just go do whatever you were going to do. I'm about to be going on a run here whenever I get this done. But I know that if I leave this spot, I don't know when I'm going to get back and complete this task and complete this project that I've been wanting to roll out to you all, right? I have the momentum now, so I'm capitalizing on it. Something that has been sticking in my brain a lot lately comes from Ryan Holiday in his book, Discipline is Destiny, and it's stay in the saddle, right? You have momentum, stay in the saddle and keep taking full advantage of it and creating results and doing things that you know you want to do, because at the end of the day, you're going to be so glad that you did it and you have these tangible results to show for it, and hopefully are helping a lot of people along with it. So that's my little spiel on momentum. It's powerful. It's fleeting, right? It can be super deceiving to think that we're going to have it forever. But it's just not the case. And I continue to learn that lesson over and over with think about how many half projects you have. At least for myself, there's so many things that I've started that I haven't completed. And, it is a direct result of not taking advantage of that opportunity when I had that momentum, right? Because I just never got back around to it. And then it's so hard to get back into that same flow of where you were. Because that's the last point I want to make on momentum, is that when you have it, you're in that state of mind, right? Of having this creativity, the ideas, everything feels super easy and natural. And it can be very hard to stop and then do something else, shift focus, and then try to get back to where you were, right? And it takes me to the point of what we talked about in an earlier episode on these 30 for 30 with focused attention, right? Because that focused attention is what's going to allow you to continue taking advantage of that momentum. And last but not least, is it last? We'll see. Number 30, saying yes to opportunities that involve one-time experiences is a key to ultimate memory creation and happiness. So this one, I can think of so many different experiences where I'm just so glad that I said yes to doing the thing that was a unique experience that probably could never be replicated again. I think about travel. I think about the surf trip that I've talked about on this show, the road trip that I had just mentioned, getting coffee with that person who was in town that one time, going to the gym and walking up and shaking that hand of that individual that you've been meaning to talk to, or, whatever it may be. Like, there are a lot of these opportunities in life that you're going to be in one place, one time, and that specific moment of time with those specific people, and that entire scenario may never replicate itself again. And so if you get that butterfly feeling, if you get that little where your heart picks up and you feel that physical feeling, that's a good indicator that you should take action on the thing that you're resisting. And I know that it can be hard, but it comes back to also acting in spite of fear, right? And being bold and being brave and having enough courage to, although you fear that thing, continuing to do it. Because those are the things that ultimately might very well change your life and the lives around you forever. All right. So that is 26 through 30. And we got one more. We have number 31, which is go one more. And this is by no means my motto, my slogan. This comes directly from Nick Bare, the CEO and founder of Bare Performance Nutrition, a company, a brand that I've rocked with for quite some time now, years. And I just totally vibe with everything that they're about, right? Which is this go one more mindset. You can always do one more. You can go one more rep. You can go one more hour. You can go one more minute. You can do one more episode. You can do one more life lesson. You can make one more call to end the day, right? I can't tell you how many times throughout my sales career that I have made one more call, right? 4:30, 5 p.m. And it just blows me away how many times someone has answered and there has been a positive progressional step that has taken place because of that one last call. So go one more is what I'm leaving you with here. Just a quick quote. So I have go one more. The extra mile is not crowded, and a little bit adds up to a lot, right? So just that compounding effect of go one more, a little bit more, right? A little bit at a time, over time adds up to a lot, right? And so I just want to say thank you to everybody who has tuned into this series. If you listened to all of the episodes and all 31 lessons, can you please do me a huge favor and just let me know? Can you let me know? And I would love to hear what your thoughts were as I continue to roll out more projects like this, more series like this. Can you please leave a 5-star rating and review? If you found it at all valuable or enjoyable to listen to, I appreciate it so much. It's been super fun to reflect on this, and I hope that you have found just as much enjoyment out of it as I have putting this together for you all. And so if there's anything that any other ideas or topics you think that would be helpful to dive into further, let me know. If you have any interest in coming on the show and you want to talk about any of these lessons that are resonating with you, let me know. Happy to schedule something, happy to have a conversation, bring you on, share your insight, your seeds of success in your life, whatever that means to you. And I will see you on the next episode. Thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure to do this 30 for 30 with you. And I will see you on the next episode.